Cascade Legal, and I'm here with our lead family law attorney, Will Jones, to talk about how to get a stalking order. Hey, Will, how you doing today?
Not too bad, Steve. Another cloudy gray morning in the Pacific Northwest, but we're powering through.
Yes, we will. We will definitely pile through. So let's just talk about stalking orders and start with kind of the obvious question is, what are the requirements of getting a stalking order?
But before we dive too far into stalking orders aren't super common in Oregon. Your big restraining order, we have other videos and stuff that deal with it, is the FAPA, the Family Abuse Protection Act restraining order. Stalking orders are much different and much less common. So when you're dealing with a stalking order, you're dealing with something a little bit different than abuse, like you would see in a FAPA. What you're dealing with is, well, stalking. It's right in the name, which makes quite a bit of sense. So you're looking at, well, first let's talk about ages. Anybody over the age of 18 can apply for themselves. Anybody under the age of 18 who's a minor, they need a guardian appointed or a guardian ad litem appointed, someone to be able to represent them as though they were an adult in court. Minors are still eligible, but they need somebody to appear on their behalf, which would be a guardian ad litem, something like that.
Yep.
So stalking under Stalking Prevention Act restraining order, you or an immediate member of your family can apply, right? So it doesn't just have to be you. Someone can apply for you, but you have to have two unwanted contacts, right? So that gets a little bit tricky, right? My mailman drops off bills. Those are unwanted contacts. Clearly not stalking though, right? I don't want him to drop off the bills. He's done it more than twice, so that doesn't work. So those contacts have to make you feel alarmed or coerced, right? Alarmed, some manner of fear, some manner of danger, or coerced. You're being forced to do something. The trick between those two is it has to be objectively reasonable, right? So a reasonable person, which is this huge kind of legal fiction that we create, a reasonable person would be alarmed or coerced. Man dropping off the mail, yeah, I'm alarmed. I don't know how much I'm going to owe on my power bill, but it's not really objectively reasonable for me to be fearful of that. So we're looking at an average person. Would that kind of kick off some fear, some type of coercion? It has to be basically to impact your personal safety or the safety of the household member that you're dealing with. So fearful, coerced, personal safety are kind of your big buzzwords in there. The difficulty in some of this, so you have your contacts. The problem as you deal with stalking is the First Amendment. First Amendment always kicks its head off, and it always makes things tricky because people have the right to free speech. Despite the fact that it may be impinged from time to time, you do have the right to your First Amendment rights, so you can say some things. So when you're dealing with the First Amendment, assuming these are verbal or text or email or whatever these contacts are, they have to make you fear for your personal safety and contain a direct threat of harm that is intended to be carried out or has the present ability to be carried out. So this is my favorite example. I don't know why it's my favorite example. I've maybe just been doing this since the age of the dinosaurs. But if somebody says, I want to kill you, I'm going to drop a dinosaur on your head, clearly there's a threat. They said they were going to kill you, but they don't have the present ability to drop a dinosaur on you because we don't have dinosaurs, right? So there's no apparent ability. I want to kill you. I have a gun and I'm coming to your house. Now you have a clear threat, you have present ability, and the eminence of that ability. So that First Amendment means you have to have that direct threat that somebody can carry out. So that's kind of a stalking order in a nutshell. Two unwanted contacts, they have to know that they're unwanted. Fear, coercion, personal safety. If you're dealing with verbal, email, text, it has to have present ability, direct threat, and some type of eminency. It's going to happen soon. So that's stalking orders in a nutshell, or at least the elements in order to be able to get a stalking order.
Well, even though sometimes I feel like a dinosaur, I agree there are no dinosaurs anymore. Um, how does someone actually then go about getting one? I mean, what are the steps that someone would need to take to get a stalking order?
Well, first you got to go to the courthouse. Sort of. A lot of forms are available online through the Oregon Judicial Department, so you can get the forms and work on those. The forms basically say, "Hey, how are you stalked? Tell us what happened," all that stuff. So you fill out a petition for a stalking protective order. you're going to take that to what's called ex parte. Ex parte is basically a court proceeding where only one side shows up. All right. So you're going to go to court and present your petition to the judge. Judge may or may not ask you some questions. They may just read your paperwork. Kind of depends on how the judge handles ex parte. They're going to look at that and go, does this meet the elements of the stalking protective order? If it does, they're going to grant your order. Now you have a granted order. Congratulations. That means absolutely nothing, right? That order is not in effect at all until it is served on the party who's basically bound. The respondent is another way to say that. So until it is served, there's no order. Nobody's bound to do anything. You just have a signed order, right? It's just like if you have a check, that's not money. You have a check. You can put it in your bank account, let it clear. Now you have money. Same thing here. Until it's served, you got nothing. When you go to your initial appearance, a judge may go, this isn't enough. You don't meet all the elements, so I'm going to deny this. Now, there's no need to serve it because the order was denied anyway. So ex parte, head on through. If you meet the requirements, great. Make sure you have it served. Once it's served, it's in effect, and you're good to go.
So if you get it served, can the person that is served it then object to it, argue it? And how does that happen?
So once a respondent is served with the stalking protective order, they have 30 days. Mind you, it is a strict 30 days. It's not 31. It's not 32. It's 30 from the date they're served to request a hearing. If they request a hearing on day 31, a judge is going to go, can't you count to 30? Because this is 31, you're not going to get a hearing, which is pretty important because the stalking order is a lifetime order. So don't blow those 30 days. So respondent files their response, request for a hearing, and the court's going to book a hearing. At the hearing, the whole purpose of the hearing is, hey, what happened? Was there stalking? Was there not stalking? And obviously, people can put some things in petitions that are a little bit fudged, maybe a little bit embellished or polished. And obviously, there's other factors. Yeah, there were 2 or more unwanted contacts, but this person has come to my work 54 times. So yeah, that may hold true, but it's maybe not the big issue here. Maybe there's another issue. If you go to the hearing and the restraining order gets dropped, it's gone, all over with. Doesn't mean you can't reapply, right? So whoever got the order can go back, reapply, try to do this all again, but the order is null and void. Nobody's bound by it anymore. If it's upheld for life. That's the end of the story.
You brought up an interesting point there about work. What if the person who is accused, the respondent, says, well, hold on, we work in the same building. Am I good? Does that mean I'd lose my job?
Not directly. Obviously, it's kind of up to your employer a little bit. But any restraining order you're dealing with isn't just a, hey, this is exactly what's going to happen, right? Stay 150 feet away, period, end of discussion. A judge can craft whatever the order is to kind of fit with reality. So no contact outside of work hours. A judge could do that. When at work, you must stay at least 40 feet away. Anything can kind of be crafted within there to kind of fit reality. So none of the restraining orders, FAPA, EDPAPA, SPO, all of these that exist, they can all be tailored a little bit to go, okay, let's go ahead and try to craft something that actually works for these people instead of you just have to be 150 feet away, period. We don't care. So that's something, if an order gets granted, even if the respondent did everything and is like, I was clearly stalking them, they may want to ask for a hearing anyway, just to go, hey, we work at the same place. Can you deal with this relief in a little bit of a different way? That means I can keep my job. So obviously there's ways to massage this a little bit rather than just the orders upheld, the orders denied.
Yeah. So how long do these things last?
Forever. At least for the life of the person who's being restrained from contacting the other one. So that's why not only are stalking protective orders a little rare just because they're a little odd to get. Stalking is a little bit harder to prove than, say, FAPA, where it's abuse. It's a little easier to prove, but they're lifetime orders. So obviously the court is a little less reluctant to grant them because they last so long. FAPA lasts a year, subject to renewals. These are just forever. So courts really kind of dig down on the facts here and go, is this worth a lifetime of restraining this person?
Yeah. So what happens if the respondent, or I guess even the petitioner, violate the order?
So respondent specifically, but petitioner shouldn't violate the order either. It could eventually lead to dismissal, which would be weird. But automatic arrest, right? Call the police. Police come over. They look in leads, which is the law enforcement data entry system. They see a stalking order. They see that they're within X space, whatever the order says, of this person, instantly in jail.
Well, Will, thank you for talking about this. This was really informative. What a stalking order is and how you get it, and like you said, how serious it really is. So thank you for joining us today to talk about that.
You betcha. Happy to do it.
We're happy to do it anytime. So thank you everyone else for joining us today. If anyone has any further questions, please feel free to contact us. We can get you connected with an attorney who can help. Stay safe, stay